This is a bench night at super training. This is 545 pounds. Going for a raw lift here. I don't do a lot of raw stuff. I use the slingshot almost all the time, so I wanted to kind of see where I was at. That's 545 for 3. That's the most I've ever done. I did 505 before that for 3 reps, and it felt good, so I decided to work up. I was actually going to go off carpet that day, but I was feeling good, so I just rolled with the raw stuff. This is David Baffis right here. He's working on some 2-board work in his shirt. He nearly died, so he had to have him take it. David is looking to go up over 500 pounds on his next meet. This is Ryan Cove, who quit the gym, and so I'm giving him shit. He still comes around here and there. Hopefully he'll come back at some point. Good lifter. He's squatted over 700 pounds in a meet.
Even Roy thinks
so we need guys like that around. We all try to help each other out. You can see there's a lift-off guy, there's a side guy. You got Jim McDonald there, our official cameraman for super training. Got him working in his shirt. He tried another shirt on earlier in the workout and struggled with it. He kind of went back to his other shirt, but when you go back and forth between shirts like that, it's just you're fighting an uphill battle because you're expecting to get a certain result out of one thing, and then everything just kind of turns to shit. I've done the same thing. It's part of powerlifting. You have to put on a lot of different types of gear and figure out what's going to benefit you, what's going to work the best for you. And so it's just part of it. It may take some time. It may suck. It may take a lot of time and energy and cost you a lot of money, but it's part of the sport, so you got to get used to the gear. This is 585 off a 3-board in the slingshot. Trying to get some overload lockout work those triceps, work my skinny little arms. Got Big Roy Bradshaw there yelling at me to keep going. So I was able to handle some pretty good overload stuff. This is Austin Baumgarten. He's recently benched over 500 pounds in the meet. Austin has kind of come to the conclusion, and this is great whenever a lifter can come to conclusions on their own. He doesn't think working with boards is a good idea for him much anymore. So he decided to eliminate him. That's 635. As you can see, the weight's coming down like a ton of bricks. I'm really dying. Didn't quite lock that last one out. But, again, it's just overload, trying to work the triceps, trying to make Big Roy happy because he loves anything heavy in the bench. And this is Treston Scholl. Treston has benched over 700 in competition before. He's getting ready to compete May 15th at super training. He's also getting ready for the Pro-Am. I believe the Pro-Am's out in Tennessee this year. This is Juan warming up, doing some board work. Later in the workout, he goes to a 1-board, and that was a 2-board right there. Technique and stuff was a little off. Sometimes the lighter weights are actually the harder weights to move because sometimes the shirts are tight and it's hard to keep your technique. The great lifters keep their technique no matter what, whether the weight's heavy or light though. This is big Jim Sheffield. Jim Sheffield's chasing down an 800-pound bench. He wants to be the first guy over 50 years old to bench 800 pounds. I don't believe anyone's done that yet. There's been a lot of guys who've been close. Jim benched 804 at 49 years old, but has fallen short of that in the last couple meets. So hopefully he can knock that out. I think he may be competing at the May 15th meet here at Super Training also. Here's Juan. I believe this one's a 2-board, and I think he's working with around a little over 600 here, maybe in the 640 range or so. Juan ends up benching a little bit like myself in some ways, where he has to be real flat back and he ends up with a long stroke. So his benches a lot of times look like 2 or 3-part lifts, which is a real pain in the ass. But we decided with Juan we need to try to get him to work with lower boards and not necessarily the higher ones in training. And then this is Treston doing some work off of 1 board. He's around 680 pounds, 685 pounds, somewhere in that neighborhood. He did a pretty good job, but he lost just a tiny bit on that left side. Treston's just starting to get some heavy weight in his hands again on the bench. And that's a big mistake out there for some of you lifters. I think you should get in your bench shirt at least once a month. make things simple on yourself. And if you're, trying to figure out some secret fucking formula or something, just remember to at least get into the thing once a month. And if you're gonna be using it in a contest, at least get into it once a month. I like to do every 3 weeks. Some of the guys at Westside Barbell do every 3 weeks. There's guys out there that are in it every week. But what you want to look at is like who's making progress, and what type of lifter are they. If it's a bench only guys are a little different. They can afford to be in their shirt every week. Like Juan likes to wear his shirt nearly every week, but he's not. Although he's been squatting with us a little bit recently, not normally squatting, not normally deadlifting. Something's got to give when you're doing all that stuff. Something's got to give. When you're trying to improve all 3 lifts at the same time and you're working real heavy, it's going to fry out your nervous system, your muscular system, and every other system you have in your body. So something's going to start to go backwards at some point. So you don't want to be in all your gear all the time. But with the bench shirt, squat suit, any of that stuff, at least try to get into it at least once a month or so. Here's Treston again. I think this is closer to 700-pound range. I don't remember the exact weight, but his best in the meet's around 710, 715. And you see that one stalled a little bit, but he caught it at the top. He got his elbows underneath it. Treston's able to arch up pretty good. He's got pretty good form. He's able to keep the range of motion fairly short. Here's Juan again. I think Juan actually went back down in weight. But sometimes when you go back down after you already went heavy, things are kind of fried out, so the lift ends up looking a little shaky. When we do our board work, when we do our shirt work in training, we try to get to, I'd say, somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 to 4 working sets. Obviously, there's going to probably be 3 or 4 warm-ups in there as well. We've all tried to do more sets, and it just kind of, again, beats you up too much, and we're trying to squat, we're trying to deadlift, and too many sets are going to affect the squat and deadlift. Rick Husey once told me that when you hit a big PR on a bench or on a squat, your next workout, you should have kind of lower expectations for yourself. He said that's a good way to keep making progress and to keep moving forward. So if you hit a big PR, you hit like a 30, 40-pound PR on a bench or a squat, make sure that next workout is just backed off a little bit. That's going to keep you fresh, and that's going to keep you strong, and that's going to keep you kicking ass. This is a floor press, tricep extension thingamajigger with some chains. I like to use the chains because the chains deload at the bottom, so the weights are lighter at the bottom, heavier at the top, so it doesn't kill my elbows quite as much. I'm using the fatty bar to try to make my face look thinner. I don't think it's working. This exercise, it's kind of an extension and press at the same time. It's not obviously not a full extension, but it's kind of the way I like to do them. I like to build up my triceps, keep them strong for those big benches. Hopefully hammering out a lot of this stuff and a lot of the raw work will help me get to a 900 at 275. Hardest part is always getting up off the floor. Here's Treston Eugene again. Guy's fat and disgusting. Probably smoked about 4 cigarettes during the course of this workout, maybe even more. He's working on that technique, working on keeping that belly up. You can see he kind of dumped the weight there, and it was compromised in form, and it ended up fucking him up as he came back up. Because the way that you set up, the way that you, oh my God, I don't even know what to say about that right there. That's and that box is just not big enough. That's amazing. But the slight breakdown in form is what led to the dysfunction at the top of that lift. And that's the end of our bench night, folks.